What's up guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going vertical bruiser. This is the last gameplay from PBE and VODs after this one are all going to be on the live patch. Alright, so this video is gonna be a vertical bruiser comp, very fun comp and also easy to play, but you need a few augments and adjustments to make in order to make it work. It's not forcible, but it's actually pretty strong if you get the right augments for it. You can play 6 bruiser or 8 bruiser, depends on your choice, and there are some tips and important things to notice that we're gonna talk about along the way. So let's quickly talk about the bruiser units and how they can perform in this comp. So Titanc and Skarner are both 1 cost. Titanc is very strong and a tank. Skarner is a little bit more towards the damage part. On the 2 cost we have Shen, very good unit overall, completely utility, do not put damage items on him. On the 3 cost we have Silas and Eloy, that none of them are a carry, they are both utility, especially Silas is a mage, and if you can manage to have like 3 mage, then he's good enough to have items on, otherwise you don't want to put items on him. Before continuing with the units, here we get Titanic strength, that is like the best augment you can possibly get if you want to go vertical bruiser, and at this point I decided that okay, this is a bruiser game, I'm gonna play bruisers. Continue with the units, we talked about Eloy and Silas, then there is Olaf. So Olaf can be a main carry here, but there are some things to notice that I'm gonna talk about in a bit. And finally on the forecast, we have Sy'fen and Ornn. Ornn is a generic tank, very strong, and Sy'fen is the real carry of the comp if you want to go vertical bruiser. And now about the thing that I talked about Olaf is that if you really want to go for Olaf carry, you want to 3-star him, and at the same time you also want to use the scale scorn trait that he has. That's going to give him a lot more damage, and also he can take less damage from like dragons or like very high health units in general. But since we are going to have Sy'fen in the comp as one of the strongest units that we can possibly have as a bruiser, then that means that Olaf cannot get the scale scorn activated because you have a dragon on board. So this is the important thing to note. If you want to carry with Olaf, then you don't want to have Sy'fen around and go scale scorn instead. But if you are going to have Sy'fen in, then Sy'fen is going to be your main carry, and Olaf can still do some damage, but it's not going to be the main star of the show. So pretty good early game for us. We are not losing health. Bruisers are very good early game because what they are gonna offer to your team is flat health, and flat stats are always good early game and they usually fall off the later we go in the game. Very good shop at 2-5, we get a Skarner too, and we also get an Olaf, so we get to 4 bruiser, we get rid of the Namzi, and now we start to go vertical. The more bruiser you have, the more health you get on the bruisers, and with the Titanic strength augment, the more AD your units are going to have. Also, bruiser is going to give you a lot of, side traits as well automatically. For example, when you have Olaf and Shen, as I had in this fight, you get warriors from it, or when you have Sy'fen and Silas in, you're going to have 4 whispers without needing to do anything else. One other thing to note is that since all of your bruisers are melee units, if you are playing versus someone who has assassins in the comp, then you probably want to put one of your bruisers in the back line so they can actually tank versus the assassins while your other units can kill the front line. And hopefully that unit on the back line is going to stall long enough for your team to win the fight. 86 health is pretty decent. If I could get more 2 stars, I could even have higher health, but that's all we need. We're not rolling or anything. I'm just trying to save as much gold as possible to get to higher levels and activate 8 bruiser. Again, if you wanna carry with Olaf, then you just skip Sy'fen and you can play 6 bruiser, or if you get augments, you can play 8 bruisers, but you're going to have Titanc and Skarner in at the same time, that they're not like the best units in the late game, so it's your choice. Here on our second augment choice, we get a Bruiser heart. I really couldn't ask for something better. It's perfect, and we now activate 6 Bruiser. And I also hit Sy'fen, so technically I can play 8 Bruiser, I just do not have enough units yet. And as we talked about it, just by putting Sy'fen and Silas in, we get 4 Whispers activated. And since you have a lot of health on these Bruisers, the fight will go long enough for your Sy'fen to really stack on that AD and AP from the Whisper. You can see that Sy'fen, even at 1 star, has like an insane amount of AD already and can one-shot backline units. I also have a Rod on Olaf because I want Rage Blade on him. Very, very good because again, the fights will last long, so you want your units to have scaling items like a Rage Blade on Olaf or a Titan's Resolve on Sy'fen. And as you can see, we are getting a lot of value from Bruisers. We are win streaking while not rerolling at all. But honestly, we were a little bit lucky to actually hit the Sy'fen and Olaf at the right time. Alright, so I pick up a belt here. The idea is to get a Warm Rocks for Sy'fen, so she can get more health and more AD from it. If you really want to, you can go Sunfire at this time. You will still get 400 health from it, pretty good. But I really wanna play a little bit more greedy because I have a lot of health to work with. So try to put your Illaoi in the fights in a way that she can hit the most units, so you can steal more armor and MR from them, and also Illaoi becomes a little bit more tanky. By the way, you can see that I'm still level 6 while win streaking. I'm playing the absolute greedy. I could easily try to go for a level up, but it really doesn't help me because I have 6 Bruiser and I cannot hit 8 Bruiser without going to level 8. So even if I did lose my win streak, it still didn't mean anything to me. And when your Sy'fen has a lot of AD and actually does cast like the way you see it here, it actually is very satisfying to get those consecutive casts. It really is a feels good moment. So the items we got here were not like the absolute best things I could hope for, but still Bramble Vest is good, I can get that. I can make a locket here and I should have done it because I really do not need a second rod, and the other chain vest wasn't also that necessary, so I should have made the locket already, but I didn't, and that was a mistake from my side. And I'm pretty sure if I had the locket here, I would win this fight because of the locket value, and it's something to learn from it, I guess. Our last augment, we get Ancient Archives, so a Tomb of Trace, pretty good. I was hoping for another Bruiser or anything like that, but we actually get a Warrior emblem. That's pretty good. We already have 2 Warriors, and it means that if I go level 9, I can actually add Yasuo and get to 4 Warriors. Also, Olaf will do more damage, so overall pretty good. I could have leveled to 8, but since I lost my win streak, I decided that I do not want to do it. If I had the win streak, I would definitely level up to 8 and play the 8 Bruiser at this point. But now with the Warrior emblem that I have, my goal is to go level 9 as soon as possible, find the Yasuo and play the 4 Warrior. If you pull that off, it's almost a guaranteed win. So in other words, if I didn't have, you know, the option to go for 4 Warrior, I would go level 8, a slow roll, try to 3-star my Olaf if it is uncontested. Also definitely go for 2-star Sy'fen, and if I feel like it, I could go level 9 after that. We finally find a bow from the carousel, and it's going to be the Rage Bait on Olaf. It's a really, really important item, especially if the fights are guaranteed to go long. So Olaf gets his Rage Blade, we go level 8, and we add our last unit here, that is Tom Kench, to give me 8 Bruiser. And again, if you are lower on health, if you're like 35, 40 health, you might want to stay at level 8 and try to, you know, stable your board more. But here I just find Ornn and I think I'm stable enough to go level 9 here. And now all you need to do is to position good for the fights and you should be good to go. Again, put Illaoi and Ornn in a way that they can hit the most number of units so you get the maximum value from their abilities. Also, Sy'fen positioning is important. She can dash towards the enemy carry and finishes them off, but that's a little bit harder to pull off because she dashes towards the furthest target in her 2 hex range, so it doesn't necessarily go towards the carry even if they are in the 2 hex range. Sometimes it's like 50-50. Anyway, pretty fun comp and also easy to play, very powerful if you get the right augments for it. It's very, very powerful. Also, a lot of side trace getting activated with it is pretty good, so do give it a shot if you get the chance. And in the treasure dragon part, all I need is a belt for my Sy'fen, so the rest of the items do not really matter that much. But here I got a belt, but a blue buff is not something that I really want. Really no one on my team can use this blue buff that good. So I decided to go a little bit more greedy and try to find something better. And we actually are able to get like insane value from it. We get our belt to complete the warm rugs there. And also Olaf gets like a perfect item that is a RFC, insanely good. And I finally go and make the locket that I should have made ages ago. You see the assassin player is trying to be annoying. I should have put one more bruiser to the back line that I will in the upcoming fights. It's really nothing too crazy to position with this comp. All of your units are melee. You can see that I actually positioned like that. Olaf was actually where Silas was, so we tried to get rid of the enemy Zephyr, and now they're all piled up and Sy'fen is gonna hit everyone. As you can see, she's so powerful, especially if you give her more AD, and in this case she gets it with the augment. So all there is left to do is to go level 9 to start Sy'fen and add Yasuo. I have Yone on my bench, so if I don't get Yasuo, I just play with Yone to get the 4 bruiser. And the rest of the video is just gonna be some fights with the full power of the comp. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.